Hey everyone, welcome to my studio. In my studio, I am focusing on the mosaic I am making of Moses in the Nile River, this design right here. This is the set of 3 Moses mosaics that will be going around the sides of a fountain at a church. And I have already finished and installed the first one, and now I'm working on this one. Let me show you where I'm at. Here it is. I've gotten a really good start. I've knocked out a whole section of greenery over there, some lilies, the people. I've done the background a little bit and the riverbank. And now I have started on the water. So I'm going to continue to work on the water this week. And I'm going to double check on my glass order that I'm waiting for some of this glass to come in. So we'll see where that's at. And in the meantime, I've got plenty of water to work on. With the water, I am showing the swirls of how it's flowing around the different elements. So the people, the basket, the lilies, but also a bit of the reflection of these things in the water. So some of the blue from this dress will come down. Some of the basket is coming down, a little bit of the red, and then a little bit of this color coming down. That is how I'm treating it. So here I'm going to have a little bit of the bank, a little bit of the green reflecting, mostly blue, but just a tad of that reflection coming through. So I'm going to get after this portion right here. I have the most gold in this area around Moses, and so that's what I want to work on first. When I make the reflection of these elements in the water, it's important to note that the reflection is never going to be as saturated in color as what it's reflecting. It's always going to be a tone down from that, not quite as much color. So I'm going a little bit lighter on these reflections, a little bit more, just with the variation of the glass, there's plenty to choose from and to always go a little bit lighter. Even with the reds, I took the lightest red from up here and just a sprinkling of these will go in. That's it. I start my studio work, underneath my workbench, which is where I keep my thin set. While I'm waiting for that to slake, which is 5 to 10 minutes, I usually make sure that I have the materials I need. Sometimes I will pull up a podcast or something on my iPad to listen to, and I will cover everything so that the shards don't get where I don't want them to go. And then I'll start cutting glass so that I'll have something to adhere once the thin set has slaked. That's it. I've been working away on the water here, and what I realized was that I am stuck on this. And the reason that I know that I'm stuck on this part is that I've been avoiding it and working over here. So I wasn't sure how to finish this. I know it's near the edge, so I don't have a lot of space. My solution, I'm going to tackle it and knock this out because I'm tired of looking at it unfinished, is to figure it out using shelf paper, and I'm going to actually draw some pattern pieces and just finish it up. That's it. My pieces might look like after I initially score and break them. You can see that I don't like scoring and breaking. I like nipping, but it sometimes makes it easier just to get the initial overall shape. So when I get down to this part, instead of scoring that and breaking that, I'll use my nippers. I would rather nip a couple times than score and break. That's just me personally. Some people coming from a stained glass background would be like, just score and break it. It's fine. So this one, just the tip. And then what I will usually do is take these over to the grinder and grind them a little bit smooth. I'll show you where these two pieces go in just a second. I usually don't even bother to remove the shelf paper yet. I just keep it on there. Let me put a little bit of water, and here we go. After I have used the grinder on these two pieces, I actually have a towel right here so I can just dry them off quickly before I go and use them. And this piece fits here, and this one fits right here. Look at that. The pieces fit perfectly in there. Ha ha, just kidding. I'm not perfect. This one is not sitting flat because it's a little bit too long. But I haven't spent a whole lot of time on this, so I'm just going to nip it down so it's not quite as long. Need some nipping over here. Checking the fit and seeing where it's touching the other pieces. There we go. Now it sinks down in there and fits perfectly. So I'll remove the shelf paper on top. And now I can nip them down and using my Latticrete thin set, put them in place. I have a couple more pieces to make over here, and then I'll be all ready to do that. Tackling this wall, and I'm going to be using this dark gray for any parts that are in the shade or shadow, which is all of this wall. But there is a cap on the wall, and just to distinguish it from the shadowy side, I'm going to add a line of black there just to punch it up so that it reads a little bit better. It's similar to the line of black that I've added at the bottom of this gown. Because when I add the shadow, I just wanted a line that delineated it so that it reads a little better. So that's what that black line is for, just for readability. Now I'm going to get after it. Oh, usually also when I do something like this where all the pieces are going to be rectangular basically, I will go ahead and cut an inventory of shapes before I begin, and then I can just pop it out, and works really well that way for me. Whereas if I have all the pieces different, it doesn't work as well. Oh, and I drew this line here with my dry erase marker, and that's going to mark where the shadow line is. So over here will be regular pavement like this in the background behind the iris, and over here it will be this dark gray. I might do a black line there, but there's only 3 spots it's going to hit. 1, 2, and 3 to delineate between those 2 areas. Let me get after it. here. And closest to the figure is where the shadow is actually the sharpest and the darkest. And then as it moves away from the figure, it gets lighter and lighter. I'm going to stick with this dark color sort of in a cone that goes about like this. So this will be the darkest. And then over here, I actually have a transition color, which is in between. And this one will go right here all the way down and here. And then this one will be the darkest part. That's it. I have something very sad to share, and that is earlier this week I discovered that I have made a mistake on here where I'm going to have to pull up tiles and fix it. And it's already the end of the week. It's kind of late on Friday. I'm going to be working late so that I can get this done and it won't take away from the river, which is what I really want to get working on. So let me show you where the mistake is. All right, it happens to be on this landing. You'll notice that there is a shadow for this figure and there is a shadow for the cattails over there. Well, I was so excited about putting this landing in that I did not put the shadow for the cattails in. So here I have sort of drawn it out vaguely, and I will be popping these tiles off and replacing them with gray for the shadow. And I'm going to do that right now. This is absolutely my least favorite part of any mosaic, is pulling up tiles, but sometimes it is super necessary. I'm going to time the whole process and see how long it takes me, and then I'll throw it up on the screen so you can know how long this little section takes to remove and replace. That's it. Too bad. That took 13 minutes to remove the pieces and to cut some of the ones on the edge and then replace them with thinset. So now I'm going to do the same thing that I did in this lower shadow, which is the edges will be lighter and the middle and closer to the actual stems and leaves, it will be the darker gray. That's it. Took 41 minutes. So overall, it took much less time than I thought. I thought it would take me 2 hours to fix it. So not too bad. Now I can move on. When I stand back and analyze it, I love how the water is coming out. It looks very flowy. I can see a bit of the reflection. It's working for me. But this shadow and this shadow need to be tweaked just a little bit. The edge of it is just still too harsh. It needs to be a lighter gray so that the transition is softer between these two colors. So I am going to mess with that next week and hopefully finish up the water next week and get going on the background. And I also really like how this came out. I like how this area is all finished and filled in. So it just looking very flowy with the water, and very pleased with it. You might not be getting that gold reflection, but I am seeing it. It's just looking spectacular. That really changes when I put it upright is the black and the gray gold. When I'm looking at them at an angle, they don't look so black. They don't look so gray. They look a little bit on the warm gold side. And so to see it upright and have that black reflecting back at me, which is what I'm going for, it makes all the difference in the world. Like this area under here and this right here, it's just really working for me so much better, especially like this dark transition. Before, when it was laying flat, it looked a lot lighter and it wasn't quite as effective as it is looking right now. That's putting it together. Thanks for watching. See you next time.